At Newbiggin Beach, in the daylight, Sam's ship was standing there. Sam came, he opened the door, he stepped inside it and closed the door. Sam threw his long black coat at the side. He walks to the console and pressed the button. Sam's ship fades away from Newbiggin Beach. Sam flicks through the switches and thinking he should go outside of his universe. In the new universe, an astronaut has picked up a green crystal with a smoke inside it. So he walks to the sci-fi looking shuttle, he opened the door and placed the crystal inside the crate at the back of the shuttle. So the astronaut closes the shuttle door and the engine starts and the shuttle started to fly from the moon. So an astronaut took his helmet off who revealed to be a man called Fisher. Suddenly, a crystal in the crate falls onto the floor and smashed. As the smoke sprayed at Fisher, he started to feel sick. The shuttle is racing down to the planet Raccle with a field of futuristic hospital and laboratory. Fisher is gripping tightly on the controls while sweating. The shuttle crashed down to the tunnel of the lab. There's 3 flying cars with red and blue lights flashing, flying towards the crashed shuttle. Sam's ship materialized at the other side of a country in Raccle. So Sam opened the door and walked out and said, "Raccle, in the new universe, a twin planet to futurists." Sam ran towards the lab building. He was fascinated by the design. Sam picked up his sonic screwdriver from his pocket and brings it close to his ear. As it's making a buzzing noise, Sam suspects that he's got a call from help from the building that's in front of him. Sam walked towards the automatic door as it slid open, then closed after Sam walked through. He looked around inside, a big sci-fi room with people walking past, including visitors, clients, doctors and nurses. Sam walked to the elevator. He pressed the button. The elevator opened. Sam walked in and said, "Floor 30 please," as it's the top floor. The elevator lifted to the floor 30 and the door opened. Sam walked out and it was a room full of beds surrounded by curtains and there's desks in the room. So Sam has a look around and met one of the nurse called Nova. He questions if there's anything odd happening, so she tells Sam that there was a crash accident at the tunnel and Fisher, the astronaut, was brought in. He was really sick and placed in the isolation room. Sam looked at the map on the computer attached to the wall, finding where the isolation room is. Meanwhile, as a nurse walked out of Fisher's room, Fisher's face is looking whiter and falling asleep. Sam is inside the elevator and is moving down to the corridor. As the lift opens, he walks to the corridor, scanning around with his sonic screwdriver. So then he picked up something from a room that Fisher was in. So Sam knocked on the door and slowly inched open and said, "Sorry to disturb you. I had reports about the crash and something you might be carrying." Sam realised Fisher passed out, so he walked towards him, having a look at him. He uses his sonic screwdriver to identify the disease, pointing at Fisher and the fragments of crystal he picked up from the moon, and then said, "It's not looking good. It identifies a trioxin chemical, making him feel like he's burning, sick, and dying." Then he had a thought. "It's similar to 2,4,5 trioxin. This is really not good." So a nurse walked in and shouted, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Sam replied, "You're not safe here. We need to leave. He's been infected." A nurse said, "Don't be ridiculous. I know how to do my job." So the nurse walked closer to Fisher without listening to Sam, saying, "Don't! Get away from him!" Nurse has a closer look. Then all of a sudden, Fisher opened his eyes. Without showing emotion, he sat up fast and grabbed Nurse by the neck, and she turns into an animated corpse, like Fisher. So they make a zombie roaring noise. So Sam ran out of the room, and Nova showed up and said, "This area is staff only. You shouldn't be here." And Sam replied, "Yeah, well, it'll be undead only if we don't move." So 2 animated corpses smashed the door down and walked towards Sam and Nova. "What the hell is going on?" asked Nova as she's scared, and Sam answered, "The animated's dead, sprayed by the Trioxin. If you've been touched, we'll become them. Now run to the elevator!" Sam and Nova ran to the elevator. As they pressed the button, they noticed that it's currently in use, and knew it wouldn't reach them in time. As the two undeads are catching up with them, Sam suggested the stairs, so they ran up the stairs with undead following them. Sam and Nova walked into the room full of people working on desks. The door is shut, and Sam shouted, "Listen to me! You people are in very serious danger. You need to evacuate." And one of the workers said, "Don't be silly. The only danger around here is catching a cold from a client." The door broke down, and two undead showed up, which caused people screaming and running. Some of them have been touched and turned into animated corpse. Sam, Nova, and a lot of people are running through the corridor, getting away from the animated corpses. A security went on the telephone and shouted, "Emergency! Close down the building!" So all the doors and windows of the building went to lockdown, and the tannoy saying, "This building is under quarantine. No one may leave the premises." Sam and Nova ran through the corridor as they started to get out of breath, so they ran inside the basement and slammed the door. Sam suggested to find a way to barricade it, so Sam and Nova grabbed the cleaning products and any objects they can find to barricade the doors. When they stopped, Nova asked Sam who he is, thinking that he might have something to do with the Walking Dead. Then Sam replied, "I'm Sam, and no, I didn't. I heard that Astronaut may have brought the disease here, passing it on to people. I received the distress signal and came to help." Then Nova asked, "How can we stop them?" Then Sam says, "I have met infected people in hospital before in Futurus and cured them, but this is deadly Trioxin, too aggressive, even for the technology you have. It's uncurable. There's no way back for them. I'm sorry." But then all of a sudden, something was breaking down the door, and the sound of roaring appearing, so Sam asked, "What do we do?" Nova points out that there's a ladder, so they ran to the ladder and climbing on it, while a group of undead people have managed to get inside. Meanwhile, woman in the other room gets touched by undead and became one of them, as well as some nurses. As Sam and Nova climbed on to the top of the ladder, there was a metal door with a keypad. Sam asked, "What's the keypad?" And Nova said, "Normally we don't tell unauthorized the keypad. It's 2820. So Sam dialed 2820, but it said incorrect code. Nova suspected that the code was changed. Sam and Nova have looked down, and the undead are climbing the ladder, not far below them. Nova shouted, "Get it open!" So Sam grabbed his sonic screwdriver from his pocket. He pointed it at the keypad and sonicked it. The door was open. Sam and Nova hurried through the door, and Sam used his sonic screwdriver again to close the door. As the undead are getting nearer, inside the waiting room, Sam is looking for a telephone, so he has an idea. So Nova shows Sam where it is. So Sam picked up the receiver and tells everyone that undead are incurable. They need to be taken out as they're too dangerous, and that they should lure them to cargo hold. And he also tells people to trust him. So staff pulls the lever as the door from cargo hold opened, and letting many of the undead people through, including Astronaut Fisher. Sam went to the elevator. He pressed the button. The door closes. The lift goes down to the floor where the cargo hold is, packed with undead. As they turned around to look at Sam, then started to walk towards him. Sam decides to pull the cable. It was stiff, so Sam pulled as hard as he can as the undead are marching closer and closer to him. Sam manages to pull the cable out with the spark of electricity electrocuting at the end of the cable. Sam threw the cable down the floor where the undead are. They get electrocuted and screaming in pain. Sam took cover in the elevator, watching them die. So Sam takes a look and confirmed that they're all dead. After Sam explained to Nova and the staff what happened, the building is now open, and the police investigating, disposing the bodies of undead, and arrested some staff. Sam said goodbye to Nova and the other staff, so he walks out the hospital. He walks onto the grass and went back to his ship. Sam's ship arrived inside a restaurant as Sam promised his fiancée a date.